Hi, this is Glenda from glendascreativeplace.blogspot.com, and welcome to part 1 of my 3-part extended version of my tutorial that shows you how to use your Cricut markers utilizing my method called Glenda's marker method. This extended version also encompasses several other hints and how-tos in addition to just showing you how to use your markers. So here comes part 1. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Glenda with glendascreativeplace.blogspot.com, and I'm here today to bring you a video tutorial on how to correctly use your Cricut markers with your Cricut and Expression machines. And it's a method that I actually discovered last year. It does deviate from the written directions that are in the markers. So bear with me and listen, and I think you're going to be very happy. Here's a post that I put in the message board for the Cricut.com message board last year sometime, and that was when I first figured this out. And what I had been doing that day when this all came about was I was trying to make a series of paper dolls, and each of them had all kinds of little tiny elements that belonged to them: shoes, ties, vests, etc. And I always just felt like they needed a little extra something, a little oomph. So I decided that they needed to be outlined. And I didn't want to have to do all those teeny tiny little pieces with my distressing inks or anything like that by hand, because I knew it would just turn into a big mess. And plus it would be a ton of work. So I decided to use the markers. And what I was finding when I was following the directions is they just weren't working the way that I wanted it to do. Things were not coming out perfectly, and I think that's what's happened to a lot of people along the way. We've gotten the markers, we followed the directions that come with them, and things just didn't quite line up right. So through a lot of trial and tribulation, I have come up with what I call now the Glenda marker method. So what I'm going to do now is walk you through what that is. I'm going to tell you why it works. I'm going to tell you what you need to make it work. And probably along the way, I'm going to show you a few extra things, because that's just how I like to work. So before I leave this page, I just want you to know, if you own a Cricut or Expression machine, and if you have never been to this site, you need to go. Cricut.com/message board. This is a place, it is an amazing community of people that are there to help you. It is an amazing community of people who show just incredible kindness on a daily basis, things that I just had never seen before, to total strangers. So it's a fabulous place. Don't be afraid to go in. There is no such thing as a stupid question. So don't forget, try this out if you haven't been there. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to just show my little copyright notice. And this is so I protect myself for these videos. And if anyone wants to post this on their blog, you can go ahead and link this to your blog, no problem. You don't need permission to link it from your blog to mine, but you do need permission from me to try and post it. All right, so now we are going to go into Design Studio. Design Studio is one of the 3 things that you need to make this equation work. You need, obviously, a Cricut machine, and when I say Cricut going forward, I am encompassing every type of Cricut machine. That means a Cricut, the original Cricut, an Expression machine, or the newer Cricut Create. So that's just going to be a generic word going forward. So what I need you to do is, when you get into the software, and by the way, if you don't have the software, you can download a free trial of it off of Cricut.com, and that way you can see on this computer right now, I'm actually using a trial mode because I have it on my other bigger machine. But it doesn't matter, because right now what I'm going to show you is why this method works. And you do need the Design Studio software to make this work. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is, I'm going to show you Design Studio. If you've never seen it before, there's a few things I want you to notice. When you first get into this, the cartridge library, which is right here, it pulls up by category, and there's really nothing you can do about it. That's how the software defaults. It has all the categories here. There's a font category, there's an image category, or what I call shape cartridges, and then there's educational cartridges, and at the very end there are seasonal cartridges. So what I'm looking for in this equation is, I was looking for a heart, and I know where it is, but I'm going to pretend for this that I didn't. So what I'm going to do is, this is another feature. You can click on keywords and you can actually type in a word that's the closest thing to what you're looking for, and I typed in heart, and as you see, it's intuitive. It's already trying to bring it up. I'm going to click, and it brought up this entire list here, and what that tells us is that every one of these cartridges that's in this list has a keyword attached to it that is a heart. And I'm going to show you what you're going to do. I'm not going to go through this whole list, so don't panic. Click on the first arrow, and what that does is it brings up the Accent Essential cartridge, and it brings up this one right here in green. When it's highlighted in green, that means that's where that keyword resides. All right, and I'm just going to keep strolling through here. Now, here's the thing I wanted to show you also is, you see here now it flipped over to Beyond Birthdays on that key, and then if I click this arrow again, it's still staying on Beyond Birthdays, and now it's down here. And what's neat is it knows if there's more than one heart on each cartridge, or whatever the keyword is, it'll bring up every single one of them. So I'm not going to drag you through this entire long list because I really do know where the cartridge is that I want. I'm going to use the wedding cartridge. So I'm just going to go backwards. And here we go. Let me show you. Here's the wedding cartridge. And there is the green highlighted. And for this example, I wanted a heart that was very, very intricate to be able to show you what the markers can really produce when you do them right. So what I want to show you now is I had a default size of 3, and I'm going to zoom out just a little, and I clicked on it and landed my element right there. Okay, now the other part of this that is the main thing that makes this work well is I want you to see the shape properties. The shape properties right now read up here, the X and the Y are all I want you to worry about. The X is a 0.933 and the Y is 0.482. What that means is whenever you put an element on this virtual cutting mat, it resides on an exact position on that mat, and that is the X and the Y positions. Those are the vertical and the horizontal positions where these things lie when you put it on there. And you can tell that this is the element that I want. Let's say I had 4 or 5 elements up here. You can tell this is the one I want because all the handles are around it, which shows it's the selected one. In fact, let me click off of it real quick here. Maybe. There we go. And I'm going to move my cursor over, and I'm moving down a little bit because I want you to see the difference. I'm going to click again, and I just put another heart right there. You see that? There's the first one. There's the second one. And so now we're going to go into the shape properties again for the selected one. And the shape properties, and I'm not sure you can read it with this glare, but I'm going to try. Now the shape properties read 7.22 and 2149. And that's the properties for this brand new one that I just put on. Okay? So that's just a little aside and a little lesson, but that is part of what makes this work, a huge part. Right now, I don't need this other heart, so I'm going to hit the backspace button on my laptop here. And the reason I hit backspace instead of delete is that's what you want to do. Backspace removes the very last element that you put on your virtual cutting mat. Okay, so we're back here, and I just wanted to show you one more quick thing to do with Design Studio before we moved on. Remember I showed you that this had the keyword of heart up here, okay? Now watch what happens if I right-click on this. Are you ready? It's going to bring up a whole nother screen that says either add keyword or remove keyword. You know what? I want to know where this heart is next time, and I want to know that I have a lacy heart. So I'm going to type heart, and then I'm going to put lacy after it. And I'm going to then touch add keyword. I can double check now to look is I can go up here and look at remove keyword, and it shows over here to the right that the keyword is heart, and now the one that I've added is the lacy heart. If you want to get rid of that, all you have to do is highlight it and get rid of it by clicking remove. But I don't, so I'm going to leave it there. All right?
Okay, now that's the end of part 1. So to continue with this tutorial, go on to part 2 and see what's next. Thanks.